I'm your host, Usha Kumar. Today, we're going to talk about how to make our home interior nice and clean and special and inviting and really comfortable for us to live in so that our quality of life increases. And in order to help us to do that, I have here with us a very talented interior designer, Laurie Raphael. Laurie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Usha. It's so nice to be here.
I've always been wanting to know how exactly to freshen up your home, because when you first buy your home or first move into a place, you know, you're always excited, you set up everything, but then after a while, after months, after years, you have the same decor, you have the same things with more stuff piling up in the house.
Exactly.
And then suddenly you don't feel refreshed, you feel really tired sitting in that kind of environment. So do you have any tips for us on how to freshen up and rejuvenate? Yeah, beautify the place.
Exactly. One of the things that I love is to surround myself with beautiful things. Things that I've collected over the years, heirloom pieces, anything that makes me feel good. And that's really the whole objective behind this idea of creating beautiful spaces, which is really to elevate your mood and to make you feel good. So there's a lot of ways. I mean, one of the first, and I actually have a slide that I brought with me to show that, would be with color. And with pillows, particularly pillows. It's a great way to add a splash of color, a punch to, it might be something that you've had for a very long time, you know, the same sofa, the same carpet, same wall color.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets too expensive to redecorate all over.
Exactly. So you can actually move your furniture around a little bit before you add the new pillows if you want to refresh your look.
So I'd rearrange my furniture, and then what do I do?
Yes.
Get some throw pillows?
Yes, some throw pillows, and it might be in your favorite color.
Or even you can use the same throw pillows.
You could recover them.
Recover them.
If you wanted to.
With fresh material.
Add different patterns and textures. That's always a good idea. And if you add color to a room, you don't want to just put it in one spot. You want to make sure that you have other items around the room that carry that same color. So your eye travels so that there's flow and you just feel better in that space.
So basically you need some kind of harmony within the colors that you're using in a space.
Exactly. And here, I mean, this is a very eclectic
so beautiful.
mix.
Look at that.
And it's very exciting, but you can see how really anything goes, and to mix and match. And so this goes back to the idea of maybe using things in your home that you've had for a while. So if you scour your cupboards and you look in different rooms, you might be able to pull different throw pillows together that you already have had, and you put them together in a brand new way, and it really freshens it up. And I like a lot of color. This happens to be a very neutral backdrop, and my philosophy when it comes to interior design is really creating a basic foundation and accessorizing it. I started my career in fashion and worked at Working Woman magazine, and that was really the same way that we dressed. It was basically you build a basic wardrobe in neutral sorts of colors and you accessorize it with flair. And I bring that same approach to home design. You know, you create your basic flooring, your wall coverings, and then your sofas and chairs in neutral colors, and you add the pops with accessories. The artwork, you know, things like that. Yes? I'm sorry.
I see the wall is white and the bed is white.
Right.
And now you have all these other colors, but they're beautiful.
Exactly.
Put together.
And look at how refreshing that is to walk into a space and you already feel instantly energized. And your space is beautiful with things that make you feel good. And that's the whole objective.
And so once I rearrange and put some pillows, now we're talking about the bedroom or the living room, any area?
Any area, and it could be just a little chair. You know, this whole idea of adding beauty is I think speaks very well to ritual. It's very important to have rituals. And you might have a favorite chair that you add, we could take a look at a favorite chair that you add a beautiful pillow to, and a great reading lamp, and that becomes where you go to read the newspaper in the morning or have a cup of coffee and relax.
So you need to have these little corners or little areas for different things.
Exactly.
And then bring the mood for the different things.
And personalize it. I don't know, there are quite a few companies now that do photographs onto pillows. And you can take pictures that you've had from a family vacation. You could take pictures of family members, and you could have them put on to pillows. And I love that idea. It really personalizes your space. And then when you look at it, you gain a great deal of satisfaction and comfort and love. You know, you're surrounded by that feeling of love. And it's just a different way to add personality, to your home.
And once we do this redoing of the layout, adding some color, and then what do we do with it?
Well, I think we still have one more slide of pillows.
Oh, I see.
Just because I think that's one of the easiest, quickest, most inexpensive ways to brighten up when we speak about color.
First, we have the very colorful pillows on a very neutral background. Then we had the printed photographs.
Exactly. And now this is a
pillows.
more neutral, more subtle showing. However, a couple of points here. One would be the artwork behind the sofa and having one statement piece that's a focal point in the room, but also drawing out those colors in the throw pillows. And you look at the variety of throw pillows there. Again, like we saw with the bright colored pillows, a lot of different colors, a lot of different texture. Some have, the fringe around, some don't. It might just have its own self-welting, but a lot of variety, and anything goes. It's a combination. It's not all about matching them. It's about putting together an eclectic, interesting mix.
That looks very beautiful put together. They're not even all the same size pillows.
Exactly. And I think that's, again, start to think outside of the box a little bit. Start to think in different ways how you can make your home a little more updated, a little more personal, a little more a reflection of yourself, and also just more beautiful.
What will not work in a setting like this? What kind of pillows won't go together?
Oh, I would say if you get the really small, you saw the size of the sofa, it's a very oversized sofa. You don't want anything too small. You want it to be in proportion. And proportion is very important, I think, in general in your room. If you have very large pieces, you want everything to be on the same scale so it doesn't look miniature.
Yeah, that's another thing, because very often people buy these big sofas and then the ready-made cushion, pillows are really small, and they don't go there. You need to buy those oversized
Right.
pillows
Most
for
of the
this.
time, when I'm
20-inch
purchasing
ones as opposed to the 12-inch
16-inch or
16,
something,
yes.
exactly. Most of the time when we purchase sofas for a client, we don't use the ones that come with it. We will get something else additionally. And maybe we'll use those as floor cushions or somewhere else in the home, but again, not matching exactly. You want a little bit of interest.
Yeah, that's what I do with mine. I make new throw pillows with new fabric for this.
Exactly. It's a great way to freshen up your space, though, in a very short amount of time also. So another point that I'd like to make about beautifying your home and adding quality to the everyday is the way you eat dinner or any meal. It's improving your tablescape. And I really like cloth placemats and cloth napkins. I don't know what you use on your table in the evenings, if you create a special ambiance.
Yeah, we always use tablecloth. And sometimes if I don't use a tablecloth, and if I'm using the glass top table, then I just have these placemats, real big ones.
Right.
Nice circular ones that I buy.
But you set a special table.
I do set a special table, yeah.
And I think that speaks to the ritual that we mentioned before. It's very important to make every day special, to make the ordinary extraordinary. And I think table settings are a very easy way to do that. And again, available everywhere at every sort of retailer, online, and locally. You can find colorful, inexpensive placemats and napkins. So that's the first thing. Throw away the paper napkins, use cloth napkins. I think that makes it just much more special. And then as far as things that you put in the center of the table, it might be flowers, it might be special pieces that you collect, in a grouping. It might be seasonal, like you might bring in pine cones in the fall. It might be pine boughs, towards the winter. And now we're moving on, to Valentine's Day, so it might be something red. It could even be little red glass balls or something like that. But make it personal to yourself, the season, or what else is going on. I love themed entertaining, and oftentimes we'll look ahead a little bit and see what's coming up. And for example, when Harry Potter was coming out, I did a Harry Potter dinner, and I have a slide of that. I actually took a photograph from the theme park, from Universal Theme Park, and blew it up and made that into the placemat. But it was Harry Potter Hogwarts Castle, and here we can see that. And so that became the placemat. And then I used old ties that were representative of the colors of the different houses in Harry Potter for like the napkin ring holders. And things like that, very clever, and most of it was
And
things
is that
I had
the
around my
charger
house.
there?
The charger, it looked like an old something you would find in a castle, and a little wand, and then a beer stein. Things that you would have found back in that era, of Harry Potter. So I made it into an event, and I had, my children were there, and I had some of their friends, and it became a special occasion, but it was just an ordinary night, eating a meal.
I see. But then I think it'll be quite a project to make those placemats.
It really is not. It really is not. It was taking a photograph and uploading it and sending it to a local place to have an oversized print made. It was very inexpensive. It only took a couple of minutes.
And then how do you cover it? I mean, do you cover it, laminate it, or
No, because
anything?
it was something, it's a temporary.
Oh, I see. So it's a throwaway paper.
Exactly.
So okay.
And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so you can do that with other sorts of events, same sorts of things, a birthday party, an anniversary party. You take a wonderful photograph, and you can make it square, rectangular, whatever size you want. But it's a very inexpensive way to personalize and to add a theme, and then it's disposable. You don't have to store it, which I really like that idea too.
Yeah, especially for the themed parties. You're not going to use it again. So.
Exactly. And then I have another, I think, of an Alice in Wonderland. That was at the same time that the Alice in Wonderland movie with Johnny Depp was coming out. And this is actually, we can speak to this one first. This is actually a more elaborate, when Prince, what's his name? Not Harry, the other one, and Kate. William. Yes, Prince William and Kate were getting married. This is a royal themed party.
I see.
And so they have little chargers with their face on it. Again, it's a wonderful idea for just a more special occasion.
Yeah, it looks very grand. And
yes, but again,
and
using
what's up there?
that's just
Flowers
fabric. There's flowers in the center, but then it's just draped fabric. And those were actually curtains that we used to drape on the sides. And everything with the exception of the little chargers with their faces on them were things that we had, already, in the hutch.
I see.
So it's repurposing what you have. And then the next photograph is the Alice in Wonderland, I believe. Nope. So we'll speak to this one. Oh, no, we'll go back to the gumballs, because I think that's just a really fun, again, very inexpensive. You take things like gumballs, it becomes very colorful, and it makes a wonderful, bright table setting. And turning just an ordinary event, this happened to be a little dinner party. Yeah, and it's very inexpensive, and you take your plain white vases that you have and you fill it up. And later on, we'll look at Valentine's Day. We can do the same thing with conversation hearts or little cinnamon hearts. You look to what the occasion is, and you look how you could fill up your plain white vases that everybody has, with something that is colorful and makes it interesting.
This is all just stylizing with, with the inexpensive things.
Exactly.
You don't have to break your budget to.
No, but the idea is to elevate your average meal, and it doesn't have to be every night. The every night could just, again, being using the nice cloth napkins and placemats. But for maybe once a week, do something a little more creative. Making your family's event, and it could be a family of one, a family of seven, whatever it happens to be, just a more special occasion. And that adds beauty, which again increases your mood and enhances your life.
What do we do with the rest of the things in the house? We keep accumulating things.
I know.
And then it's so hard to get rid of them because we paid a lot for it before.
Right.
Then they go out of style, or they get real plain, boring. So what do we do with that?
Well, I think that's where we edit. We have to be very careful what we bring into the home, the new pieces that we bring in. It's always good to purge at that time and maybe get rid of a few things that are either outdated or look a little bit worn out.
Yeah.
You just have to have a discerning eye. You cannot always keep bringing in and not getting rid of. And it's always nice to give away, to share with family and friends things that you no longer want and are gently used. Great way to repurpose. And I think just like we were saying with the placemats, not everything that you are going to use needs to be a permanent thing. And I think even like looking back at the holidays, a lot of my decorations this year were from nature. So when the holidays were over, I was able to just, take them right outside and put them in the woods. I didn't have to store them anywhere, which is wonderful.
Isn't that nice? I think we should all do the collecting of pine cones and the
yeah, I think so too.
bows and put them in. And,
it is very nice. And so now, one of the last ways that we could really, I think, personalize and add comfort and joy is with Valentine's Day coming up. A few things for Valentine's Day in that table. And again, using things like from the craft store, you know, that wonderful netting that comes in spools.
Yeah.
You know, that just to wrap an ordinary chair. And this happened to use these little stuffed red hearts that are very easy to make, but you could use anything. Again, you could take a little glass, a little glass red ball. You could have a little heart, a little red heart that you've spray painted, and then with a gold metallic pen, write the person's name on it. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can warm up a space and personalize a space with crafts.
Yeah, I'm seeing that you use a very normal, basic white tablecloth, white, you know, chair cover, which we all have at home somehow, somewhere.
Exactly. And I always say get a great set of white dishes, because once you have a white set of dishes, you can jazz them up with anything. You can
accessorize with colors for the season or
a
for the holiday.
tablecloth underneath. In this case, there happens to be red plates there, but underneath there are little red charger plates or little red placemats. But for the most part, everything is very neutral, so you're not going out and you're spending money buying a red tablecloth or anything like that.
What's in those glasses?
Those are little red cinnamon hearts, and you just put those in, and then you add sparkling water, you know, to them. But they're just your regular wine glasses that you have at home.
Oh, very interesting.
And then if we can look at the next slide, please, more on Valentine's. And again, this is a very clever way to fill up. These happen to be a little more funky vases, but fill up any vases that you have. And these are the oversized conversation hearts. So instead of getting the small ones, you get the slightly larger ones. And they're colorful, they're fun, they're very inexpensive. And then when you're done, you throw them out.
What's in these glasses?
That's what it is. It's the large conversation hearts. You know, the little conversation hearts that say, please be mine.
Oh, I see.
You know, my love, those sorts of things. Those are the messages on there.
And you can hand out to your guests?
Yeah, or they can take them as an after dinner mint or something like that. Repurpose that.
Very pretty.
And then the last one in the Valentine's. Is there one more? Maybe not. Anyway, those are just a couple of things coming, you know, with Valentine's Day coming up. Those little red doilies that they sell too, or the little white doilies, you can layer those on the center of the table for a centerpiece, and then put a little arrangement of flowers on. Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
What do you think of these little battery candle kind of thingies?
Oh, those are very nice
Aren't they
too.
Cool?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Especially when kids are around, it's easier to just use those and not worry about setting anything on fire.
Yeah, I think the same thing. And then also, like during Hurricane Sandy, we used those because we started to lose candle power after a while.
Yeah.
We had used a lot of the candles in our house, so it's very nice to use.
Even that little bit of light takes away the darkness in the room.
And it gives off a nice glow. And again, this time of year, candles are a wonderful thing to use, because they really just warm up the space and take the dark light, you know, that starts around 4:30, you know, where everything gets so dark, it just brightens it right up.
Yeah. And when we want to freshen up with color, we started with color.
Yes.
I'm wondering, there are some colors that used to be very popular in the previous years, but now they are not. But then we can't just replace them because we put in a lot of money to buy these big furniture and other objects. So how do we change that color?
Well, it really depends on what it is. If it happens to be a sofa and it's a very large piece, again, with throw pillows, you know, you might not be able to change the color of the sofa, but you might be able to add a pop of color or neutralize. You can bring in neutral colors for the pillows, or texture. You know, faux fur happened to be very popular this year, so bringing in maybe a faux fur throw or a faux fur through pillow.
Yeah, so you don't want to buy a big sofa covered with faux fur.
No.
But instead you'll have a throw or a pillow.
Couple of pillows or something like that.
Okay.
Right. And also for the bedroom, it's the same thing. You might want to add that.
So
really
you're just
cozies up
adding
your bed.
some new colors and new textures.
Yeah, textures. Never forget textures too. You don't want all of the same thing. That adds a lot of interest and life to a space as well.
And if we want to use throws like this one.
Yes, like the one you have here. Yes. Usha brought a few things that she has in her space that beautifies your space. And this could be thrown over the side of a chair in a corner. It could be put at the end of a bed, especially if you just have a plain bedspread and want to, you know, jazz it up a little bit. It's a great way to use it. Or on the back of a sofa.
Yeah.
A lot of different uses for that.
So even the old color will kind of disappear, you know, with the new colors on top of it.
And again, it does not have to match. You know, gone are those days where the shoes match your bag and everything matches and you have 2 lamps on each side of the bed. I mean, those days are really gone. There's a lot more interest, a lot more eclectic nature to decorating. And if you like it, you know, I want to say anything goes, really. Just mix and match. Have fun with it. You know, there don't have to be any hard and fast rules.
And when we have collectibles, you know, we start buying things like this one.
Right,
this
exactly.
piece. Where would you put something like that? And how would you?
I actually would take something like this, and if I had a little seating nook in a corner with a little chair, I actually would put a chain on this, and I would hang it. You know, I think it would be very cute in the corner.
Yeah, and it can take a votive there
I saw that, and I just think that's adorable. And it could be how I would put it low, you know, when you have some books and some personal items underneath.
I see.
But I think that would be a very nice
just hang
use of
it.
it. Again, thinking of things in different ways, repurposing. You know, it might be something that was meant to be hung outside or, you know, something like that, but bring it inside. Use it in a way that is unexpected. You know, so when your guests come through the door, they're like, wow, that's really, really clever.
What is that?
And for yourself, too. You know, it creates beauty, it creates joy when you look at it. You're like, oh, that's really clever. And you're using what you have.
Another item is that one there. You know, that used to be a collectible some years ago, and people were gifting them to one another. And you can still use it as a trinket box or something.
Right, exactly.
Again, you know, where
it
can
be
you
useful
keep it
as well.
Yeah, where can you keep it, and how can you display
I'm a big
it?
fan of layering things. You know, so I like the idea of having multiple items around. It might be a stack of books, and this might be on the side, and then I might group together some like items, because I like to put things of the same nature together. I think it has a little more impact than if it's just by itself. So I would recommend doing something like that.
Right now in my house, that's where I pulled it off from a bookshelf between books.
Yeah.
That's where it was.
Yeah, so I like
Right
I like to group together. I think that is just very
yeah.
interesting.
Thank you. I know we all have things like this lying around in the
do.
house, and sometimes they just take space, they gather dust, and they're not useful. So we need to find some useful positions for them.
And with
So
what
that
you
add
have
beauty.
here, exactly, and what you have here you love.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the point again, it's that you want to be surrounded with beauty and items that you love. You don't want to be surrounded by things that maybe were given to you that you don't like anymore, or clutter.
Yeah.
You know, that just adds angst and anxiety to your day. You want to have your space be very calming. So if it's just filled with things that you love, and everywhere you look, it's like, oh, that brings me a lot of joy. You know, because I remember when my mother-in-law gave that to me, or I traveled here and I, you know, brought that home.
You remember an event, a time, or a person, or a place.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that says a lot right there, you know, about yourself and your home. And when people come in and ask you about something, your whole face lights up when you're talking about it. You know, whether it's a piece of art or a great tapestry, you know, something like that. But display those pieces. You know, don't have those things hidden away. Make sure that they're out so you're enjoying them as well.
And another item would be something like this. You know, we got it thinking we'll use it as a pot, you know, for indoor plants. And then we thought it's too pretty
It is.
to be ruined with the
You don't want anything
plant.
covering it up,
Yes.
is that what you're saying? Exactly. But you could use this in a useful way also. I mean, this could be used in the kitchen. You could put utensils in here. You know, you could put paintbrushes if you happen to be artistic. It could take pens and pencils. You know, again, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and not using it as a vase or a planter, you know.
Exactly. And then you might want to create a little area. Say you did put pens and pencils, and this brings you a lot of joy. Then when you go to pay your bills or you're going to write correspondence, you have a special area that's really beautiful and well appointed with things that bring you a lot of joy. And so when you sit down to do that task that everyone has to do, it's not such a chore.
So this can be made useful as a utility item as well as a beautifying object.
Exactly. Well, just like this piece you were telling me about too. She was saying that here she puts toothpicks in here, and this was a handmade piece.
Yeah,
so,
it opens up. Well, I just stuck it here. Yeah, you can open it.
Yeah, so it becomes something that is functional. And I think that's the best combination, when you have something that is beautiful yet very functional. Put the tape on my lap. Right? I think that's great.
So this way people have their toothpicks to use. And I think people can use a lot of things that they've boxed and put away, right?
Definitely. It's a great time of year to unearth those too. During these long winter days, you know, start to see what you have in your cupboards that you can use. bring it all out, look at how you can incorporate it into your decor, and make something that is just a decorative item functional.
Okay. Could you also kind of go over some of the points you said in the other program we did, the 10 quick tips?
Yes.
In case people only tuned in today and they didn't watch the other show.
Certainly. We'll try to go through these pretty rapidly. But if you want to enhance your life quickly and energize your home for 2013, I had 10 quick tips. Some might resonate with you, some you might just let go, but it would be possibly using wallpaper in an unconventional way, like in the back of a bookcase or in the inside of a medicine cabinet. Paint is a really quick way to add a lot of color and energy, possibly lacquer paint, like a spray paint, a little table or some little piece in your home. Color would be the other way, through throw pillows, what we looked at here, throws. Bed, make sure that your bed is very comfortable and beautiful. Collections, like we just talked about, pull out your collections, display them around your home in groupings. Artwork, have some statement piece that really, like, you walk in and it's arresting with its color and its beauty. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Layering of rugs, where you might want to put an oriental rug in the winter months over your wall-to-wall carpeting or over a jute rug to warm up the space, maybe under a coffee table or a seating area. Lighting, don't overlook lighting. It tends to be one of the biggest overlooked areas in your home.
Sometimes we don't have enough light where, right? Or
Exactly.
the right kind of
the
light.
right kind of light, I think.
Okay.
We focus on the overhead lighting, but forget about the task lighting for reading, etc. Dining room chairs are a great way to really change up your space by either painting them so they're different colors, or maybe painting them all the same color and changing the upholstery to be
That
different
sounds
on each
beautiful.
chair. It is.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah, it is, and it creates a lot of excitement in the dining room. And maybe you've had your chairs for a long time and they're just very boring and dull. It's a great way to, without going out and buying anything new, just to revitalize them.
Either change the fabric or paint
Yes.
it. Okay.
Exactly. And the front, you could do the front different than the back with the dining room chair. Have a paisley on the back and a stripe on the front.
I see.
That's very interesting too. And then lastly, just organization. Great time of year just to get very organized with all your spaces in your home.
So you don't have to wait till spring cleaning for spring cleaning. Start doing it in the winter when you're inside.
Right, and establish some very good habits and patterns and systems that work this time of year.
Thank you very much, Laurie.
Oh, thank you, Usha. It was a pleasure.
It was wonderful having you.
Thank you.
And I hope all of you enjoyed the show. Thank you for watching. And until next time, goodbye.
Great.